Hi everyone, in today's video I'm going to give you a tour of all my garden decor. Recently a viewer contacted me and asked me to show her my sunflower door and all of my cute little bird houses on my propagation station. So I figured why not just make a video featuring all my garden decor, my thrift store treasures, yard sale finds, antiques, and all the crazy fun stuff that makes me happy. So without further ado, let's check it out. One of the first things you'll see when you enter my garden is this iron plant stand. This is like the focal point of my garden. It was handmade out of rebar, and can you believe it? But somebody was throwing this away. I can't even imagine. Look at all the craftsmanship that went into this. So this was left on the side of the road just to be dumped. And a friend of my husband's at the time said, "Hey, I bet Liz would like this for their garden." And I absolutely love it and cherish it. My iron plant stand, and hanging from my iron plant stand is this really cute garden sign with an arrow that points over to my back garden. I'm sure this isn't old. I picked this up at a gift store, you know, like antique stores, they sell gifts, and I put a little chain on it. So my little iron plant stand with the garden sign hanging from it, one of my favorite things in my garden. I have two vintage bathtubs in my garden. They came from a hotel in San Francisco. It's hard to see this one because of the petunias are just spilling right over. So this is my first vintage bathtub, and over here is my second vintage bathtub. Both bathtubs have the claw feet attached and all the hardware. Of course it's covered in dirt, you can't see it, but it has the handles, and whenever I water, the water just drains right out of the pipe. But it's fully intact, and I found both of these vintage or antique bathtubs at a flea market. I'm not sure what hotel in San Francisco these bathtubs came out of, but what I do know is when they were remodeling it, they wanted to update it with all new modern, sinks and tubs and make it a modern hotel. They were throwing these away. So one of the construction workers said, "I'm going to take those home." And that's how I got them. He gave them to a lady at a flea market, and I picked them up for only 50 bucks. I wish I knew what hotel they came out of because that's quite a story. But I just know it was in San Francisco. Now let me come back here. I have this really cute and shiny, what looks like a flower that actually came off of a car. It belonged to like a fan shroud. You know, I'm a girl and I don't know too much about car parts, but my husband at the time was gonna throw this away. And I said, "No, that looks like a flower, and the petals almost look like shovels, but this came off of a car." So I just thought that was kind of funky and fun, and I keep it right there on my vintage bathtub. Looks like a flower. It's a car part. I got these cute little star lights from a company called Gigalumi because I have a YouTube channel. A lot of times companies reach out and they send me free product to do reviews, and those are really pretty when they light up at night. And my little chicken and hens solar light that I got at the Tractor Supply. But here's one of my favorites. I found this old antique tea kettle at a garage sale, and I got it for $5, and it's super heavy. I mean, this thing is the real deal. This ain't no joke. It's really, really heavy. Also in my garden, you'll notice these plant stands. There's one here, and that's made out of iron. And there's another one right here. I picked these up at a yard sale. Look at the little curly cues on the legs. They're so strong and solid. And I just spray painted them a dark chocolate brown just to kind of blend in. Now let me show you this structure on my, I guess you could call it a coffee table. My neighbor's son actually made this. Don't ask me how, but he welded these pieces of metal together to make roses. This is super heavy. And she said, I think Liz would like this for her garden, and I do. Normally I keep water in that saucer for the pollinators, but then mosquitoes also lay eggs in water that's not agitated, so I'm kind of torn on what I should do about that. But this is my little center rose bouquet made out of metal or steel, not sure. But isn't that just pretty? I really appreciate her giving this to me. I do have the best neighbors. They support my garden addiction, obviously. I bought that cute little blue bench at a garage sale. It wasn't blue at the time, it was made out of wood, and I painted it myself. The lady who sold it to me said her husband made it, so it had so much sentimental value to her, and I just love it. And here's a bird cage that a neighbor gave me. I bought the bird cage right in there from a hobby store, but she gave me the frame. She was moving out of California and couldn't take it with her, so she gave that to me, and I just thought it would look really cute to put a bird cage in there. I could have also put a hummingbird feeder in there, but so there's some garden decor in my little cottage garden. Over here I have some funky tires. Of course, I just picked those up on the side of the road. Just adds a little character and funkiness to my garden. Now let me show you this plant stand. Ooh, first I'm going to get it wet because it looks so much prettier when the rocks are wet. I actually made this out of a tabletop pedestal. It's very hard to explain, but this used to be on the bottom. So imagine flipping it upside down and the table would be screwed onto the base there. And I found these hobby stones and decorative rocks at a garage sale for a couple dollars. I just glued them on there and then added some mortar. Oh my goodness, my chickens must have laid an egg. They sure are bragging this morning. You'll notice in my garden that I obviously love color, so in a way to feed my habit and addiction, I added some bottle trees to my garden. All I did was I got sticks of rebar. I had them cut into different sizes, hammered them in the ground, and then I just stuck bottles and vases right on top of the rebar. This is super simple. No tools required except for a hammer. I picked up that little sunflower at the dollar store, and since I'm standing here by all these beautiful colored doors, let's just talk about them. Don't even ask me why or how it got started. It was so unplanned, but I was at a garage sale one time and I found an old antique door and I painted it and I put it in my garden. It all started with this door right here. And I just painted it and stuck it against the fence, and then I went to a garage sale and I found another door. Then I started looking for them online, and the doors just grew, and before I knew it, I think I have 17 doors now. And I'm not done. I'm always still looking for doors on the sides of the road. But since we're standing here, let me show you my cute little sunflower, horseshoe sunflower daisies, or whatever you want to call them. I made these out of horseshoes. I epoxied them together and then glued them to a stick of rebar, used 2 horseshoes as the petals. I could have left them rusty, which I really love rusted out things, but I thought painting them would just add a little color to my garden. So those are my little horseshoe flowers. And I have another horseshoe flower right over here. Not sure if I showed you this one. All different colors. See, and here's my second bottle tree. See, some of them are bottles, some of them are vases. It doesn't matter. I just love colored glass, and I thought that would be kind of fun just to add a little interest and texture to my garden. And my succulent barrel. A friend of mine, her father actually made this. Look, it looks like it was a barrel cut in half, and then they added these legs to it. I don't know where they came from. I painted it. I thought it would look cute painted. It was all yellow when I originally got it. I'm not sure what these parts are. It looks like it comes from some kind of a carriage. I have no idea, but her dad made it. And just like that bird cage frame, they were moving out of California. She couldn't take it with her, and she gave it to me. And I couldn't be more pleased. I really appreciate all the fun things she gave me before she moved. And she also gave me this well pump. Yes, it's real, but of course it's not hooked up to a well in my garden. But I think it's kind of fun looking. I recently had a party last weekend and had some people over, and they asked me, they go, "Is that a real well you have over there?" And I said, "No, it's a real pump, but it's not hooked up to anything." But it definitely makes for a good conversation piece, I would say. I also have this old vintage gas can. I don't know, before my husband passed away. Perhaps this is a little funnel that you stick inside and then you can pour the gas in from the gas station. Maybe that's what that's for. But I just love rust, and one of these days I'm gonna paint something on that can. And my cute little old-fashioned stepping stool. Remember these when you were a kid? Well, you're probably a lot younger than I am, but I remember these, and I picked this up at a garage sale. One man's junk is another man's treasure, and I think it's so much fun. Coming right over here in back of Abby is a horseshoe flower. Abby, can you move over so I can show my viewers what's going on? Okay, lay down, that's fine. So the center of it belongs to some kind of a tractor part or a car part, but then I glued the horseshoes around that center. And right over here, this is a Model A wheel. This is an authentic, real Model A wheel. Just thought it was really cute. I just love rusty things. And over here is another flower, kind of like the first one, made out of horseshoes, and that centerpiece again. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe some of you know. Let's see what's back here. Okay, my viewer really wanted to get a better look at my sunflower door, which is my favorite as well. In case you're wondering, yes, I hand paint all the doors myself, and I try to keep them in the shade so they don't fade. But of course, with time they will fade, and I will repaint them after a few years. Let me get a little closer for her. I just use a house paint or latex paint, whatever I can get at the hardware store that maybe is a mist tint. Sometimes I have paint mixed if I want a special color. Did nothing special. And the reason why I don't put a shellac over these, I've tried those sunproof shellacs that say they keep out the ultraviolet rays, but honestly, they just made the doors peel and they turned it a dingy yellow, so I stopped using them. And I painted this one too. These are my two favorite doors over here. In order to make those squares, I just used a sponge and turned it sideways. So there is my sunflower door, my very favorite one. I think as I paint doors, by the time I got to number 17, I started developing a little talent. The first door was pretty plain, and then I kind of got a little more creative with this one. And over here I have a cute little ice cream parlor chair that I bought at an antique store, a vintage lawnmower that I found at a garage sale, and it really works. Can you believe that? And another bottle tree. And I found this little metal bucket or wash basin at a yard sale as well. And I just filled it with some plants, some coleus and grass and creeping jenny. And over here I had some leftover horseshoes. I just painted them and kind of put them around that plant. And more tires over here. Oh yeah, and another horseshoe flower. This one is a lime green. And when my Carolina jasmine is blooming, it looks so pretty. Now I'm gonna show you my birdhouses. I picked these up at garage sales and most of them at the thrift store. You can get really inexpensive things at the thrift store, and my idea was to repaint them myself, but I said, you know what? I'm just gonna leave them alone, just leave them as they are. I just thought they looked really cute on top of that bench. So my propagation station is actually made up of 3 benches. It's kind of hard to see because of my raised metal box and my zinnias, but these are 3 park benches that came from Stockton, California. But my same friend who moved out of California gave these to me. And of course I painted them. They weren't always these colors. And I just figured I would stack the 3 benches and make shelves. And this is kind of like where I put all my succulents, and sometimes I start seeds here. I just call it my succulent propagation station. And no birds have actually used these birdhouses. But that's kind of not why I have them here. I just have them here for the look. I mean, if birds did make homes in there, that would be awesome, but they don't. It's okay. Okay, let's go over here. There's always something fun to see in the garden. I picked up all these little pots at the thrift store. I just thought that was kind of cute. Now check out my milk jugs. These are real authentic milk jugs. Property of California Fish and Games Commission. And there's even a number on it. I picked these up at a yard sale. And there's some type of a wagon wheel. I have no idea. A smaller milk jug. It still has the chain attached. The funny thing is about these, I actually found a possum living inside that jug. I made a video about it. It was pretty funny. And there is Tommy. I know a lot of you people said he looked underweight or were concerned that I wasn't feeding him, but I assure you, I leave food out 24/7. But he is very old and I am a little worried about him. He looks like he stopped grooming himself, but he purrs, he's affectionate, so I think he's just getting old. I'm sad to say that, but I think he's just getting old. Here's another cute little plant stand that I got at the thrift store. It's just so lacy and detailed. I just love the intricate detail of it. Very cute. Look at the top. I just think it's so adorable. And it's so narrow, so it doesn't take up much room in my garden. And here's my little patio area where I can grow house plants and coleus. I actually made this little pot. I got a terracotta pot, and then I got some old bathroom tiles. I glued them on and then put mortar. I have a little Japanese maple growing in there. I found this stand at a yard sale. This cart was left on the side of the road. I found it in a gutter, so I painted it, and that's kind of where I keep my shovels and whatnot. My girlfriend's kids painted those rocks for me. And this little home sweet home sign is made out of shovels. I found these old shovels at a yard sale and I painted them. Little vintage sink with some shovels that oh, did I call those shovels? I meant saws. Okay, so I found these shovels at garage sales and I paint them. And this shovel I also painted. And this shovel I painted. Oh, lots of spider webs. I get so many spiders in my garden because I don't spray. My garden's all organic, so yeah, I will get spiders. Okay. And an old vintage window. Couple corrugated pieces of metal I just painted and made little signs. This one's one of my favorites. Don't worry, be happy. And some more bottles and vases that I found at the thrift store. And in case you're wondering, these bottles stay up just by these large screws. I screwed them into the top of the fence and then place each bottle on top of the screw. Pretty simple. I call this my little happy place. The little butterflies I found at the thrift store as well for only $1 each, and they're actually fabric. Somebody must have airbrushed those. My son picked up that gecko for me somewhere in the Philippines or Guam or something like that. He travels. I found this rusty old bucket at the thrift store. I love rust and metal, and this is where I keep all my garden tools, pruners, and just stuff that I can grab easily. Inside my little sink is a maidenhair fern, along with some old bottles.
Oh, they're all coming up now.
Thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope you have a beautiful day in your garden too. Bye!